Oh. West Plains Transit Center and drove past the pool.
It's pretty cool. She was sitting at the top, right in the front.
Wow. Best spot.
Her and Craig were, and so was Jackie and somebody else from Eastern.
Must have missed an email about that.
No, it was just, it's not going to go into service till September. They were just bringing it out to show Eastern. Some students were on board too. And there wasn't, I think there was an email to everybody.
Oh, was there?
But it may have been a while ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear Carl because every time I hear him talk, it's a history lesson. I always learn something.
So the part to the street just.
But yeah, that was cool.
September.
And I always do that. So anytime they make a change. Right at the end of school. Or right before school.
Somebody's car alarm.
Yeah, it's a
Black Ford.
It was
So much.
I was sweating the time I had to run. I can't wait to take the kids and I think they're gonna have a lot of fun.
Kind of cool to see the pool from that, up a little higher.
I'm excited for the pool too, like that's gonna be fantastic.
Hey.
Super exciting.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, Vince.
Guys.
Okay. Ooh,
Yeah, let me know. That'd be great. Right. Yeah. The only challenge would be then you got a cord across the side. Cord across the sidewalk.
Did we ever get anywhere on the gentleman that gave like that? About out by like Dave's
Yeah,
Auto.
but if you could send me
Remember,
those, yeah.
It saves me
Oh,
so much
yeah,
time
yeah,
now.
yeah.
I love it.
voice note for that guy.
Like, my curls are back. Like, yeah, it's so much nicer.
I'm glad you reminded me.
love
'cause I gotta
that.
reach back up.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, that was good. Unfortunately, it's not in the city.
I left the meeting last
Plenty
night.
of time. How are ya?
I was like, just dropping
Hey,
them off.
We can have a
meeting
Hey.
We can have a meeting.
Sure. He didn't think so.
Hey,
Tell me
boss.
that.
No.
How's it going?
Oh,
Good.
wow.
This is it.
Are you going somewhere?
Hey, Mark.
So you going on sabbatical or what's going on here?
When people say this is it, I don't wonder what it means.
He knows something we don't.
Here we are.
Yes, sir.
You'll do direct the resolution again. I won't forget this.
Sometimes I come home and I'll ask. "How did you do that?" I'll have to take the dog out.
Okay, so I'll start
I
with
just-
this. That's not appropriate. That's
Well,
for-
everyone knows what you're talking about. I just,
No, I don't.
I said that
It's
one
like-
time, right?
Oh, man.
At, Master Chief sitting across from Reach to the Master Chief.
Maybe.
I know.
Want to mess with the Master Chiefs.
So I was telling Trees. They run the show.
They got more pull than a lot of the officers,
Oh,
do,
God.
for sure.
They're smart.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna call to order our regular city council meeting for April 22nd, 2025. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Shelley.
Honorable Mayor Grover,
Present.
Councilmember Overhauser,
Present.
Councilmember Schmidt,
Present.
Councilmember Bartels,
Present.
Councilmember Bealock. Present. Councilmember Nazaro,
Present.
Councilmember Labar,
Present.
Councilmember Postuma.
I'm here.
All right, welcome all. We don't have any excused absences. We're all here, so it's wonderful. Citizen comments. This is an opportunity for the citizens to provide comments to our city council. I did have a handful of people that signed up, so I'd like to call right from the top. Kit and Jen Franczyk. Oh, hi, Kit. No, Kit. And so how the process goes, you state your name and your address for the record, and if you could limit your comments to 3 minutes. We appreciate that.
Kit and Jennifer Franczyk. We live at 905 Golden Hills Drive here in Cheney. We are here to represent our property and the neighbors of Golden Hills who couldn't be here today. We have been directly impacted by an ongoing issue resulting from the construction project that is taking place behind our homes. This work is being carried out by Winkler and Lennar and has been increased by a lack of appropriate oversight by the city. Our concerns were first raised with both the city and Winkler as early as spring and summer of 2024. Despite our efforts to communicate the risks, our concerns were repeatedly dismissed or minimized. Since that time, we've experienced serious and avoidable consequences. The buildup of the slope and the apparent lack of proper drainage infrastructure has resulted in property damage throughout the Golden Hills area. On our property alone, we have suffered from flooding, water intrusion, and mud and erosion accumulation. In response, Lennar attempted a temporary quote unquote fix by depositing large rocks against our fence. Unfortunately, this has caused additional structural damage as the rocks are now pushing our fence inward. Between Lennar, Winkler, and the Public Works Department, it has become a finger pointing game. After conducting research and talking to the professionals, it has become clear that best practices have not been followed to this date. Furthermore, although Lennar initially expressed willingness to help remediate the damage caused, they're now requesting that we sign an agreement that would release them from all liability now and into the future, allowing them to make alterations to our property without any restrictions. We've brought with us a copy of the agreement as well as photographic documentation of all the damage and the changes that have been made over the past couple years. You'll also see pictures of what the back slope used to be before all the changes have been made. As residents and taxpayers of Cheney, we're asking that the council support an intervention to hold responsible parties accountable and to help restore the integrity of our properties and our neighborhood. The residents of Golden Hills deserve action, oversight, and a response to the harm that has been done. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Jenny.
We've also, we're not experts in any way of code, but the research, we've been able to find a few excerpts that we believe apply, not limited to these, but for ease of access in the back of it.
Thank you. Craig Miller, come on up, Craig. Again, also for the record, please state your name and your address.
Yes, my name is Craig Miller. I live at 1013 Golden Hills Drive. I've lived in Cheney for 8 years now. My wife and I moved over here from the coast in 2016. And I attended the first council meeting to kick off the Golden Hills development phases 5 and 6. And I've been tracking it fairly closely since my house is also impacted like Kit's and Jennifer's. And they did a much better job of summarizing the condition than I can right now because I didn't come prepared to do that. But I have a daisy chain of probably 25 to 30 emails from both the city and from Lennar and also Winkler. Winkler, in my opinion, is a fairly competent contractor, but I think they got in way over their heads as far as what this development is all about. We've had drainage issues from the start. The site was rough graded back in 2017, I think, and has been beat up numerous times as the property seems to have changed hands, or they've gotten new direction from potential development people. I had a mud intrusion into my backyard in 2022, and also like Kit and Jennifer, most recently with the melt of the snow, we had a major mudslide again come into our backyard. I complained to Winkler. I know several of the people at Winkler personally because I've talked to them. They've come to my door. They've been very responsive actually, but they haven't stopped the problem. And I think it was very foreseeable and preventable to put in better drainage than they put in when they were grading the property. So I'm not sure what the recourse is, except I think that they need to go back and remediate the drainage conditions there and to prevent future intrusion of mud flows into my property. I'm very concerned about the impact of something like that on the resale value of my house, because you have to disclose these things when you put your house up for sale. And I have no solution for it right now. So I don't know how to prevent it. And I think Winkler and Lennar are the only ones who can prevent it, with the cities leaning on them a bit. I think that's my story.
Thank you, Craig. John Phelan.
Hi, my name is John Phelan. I live at 909 Golden Hills Drive, and I've been there since 2008. And when we moved in, we actually built our home there. And at that point in time, the hillside behind us was just kind of a gradual slope up. And then over the years, as the developers came in, they started backing it up closer and closer to our property, to the point where what we have here today is kind of a mess. And I'm here in support of Kit and Jennifer and their testimony. I'm neighbors with them. We've probably been hit just as hard, if not harder, from the most recent events. We've this spring, when the snow ran off, we had a mudslide that came down and dammed the water up. It moved it into my neighbor's yard and then directed it right into my basement. And so we had a flooded basement, and created a challenge in that regard. We've been able to remediate that, but we still have a lot of mud in our yard, so our lawn isn't coming back this spring. And Lennar has been somewhat responsive. They've called me once or twice. At first they offered to help, but then they didn't follow through on that. And so now we're in a situation where we probably need to reach out to them again and ask for some changes. I do have concerns about marketability of our home at this point. We're probably not going to be here too much longer. Probably next couple of years we plan to move, and it's really an eyesore. And it actually has been an eyesore for quite a while in terms of just weeds and things like that. I mean, they haven't done a good job of taking care of things. Last fall, they tried to go in and seed it, but with the mudslides, it's basically washed out all the seed. And so we'll have the same problem again this year, that not only do we have the threat of a mudslide, but we also have the threat of continued weeds and just an eyesore. So as we do go to sell our property, that's going to be a continued concern. So still yet to be determined what Lennar and Winkler will do in this case, but certainly I think it's important for the city to understand what the issues are there, and that the issues are real. I mean, we actually had water when we set up our lawn. We specifically knew with the hillside there, and it was much more gradual at the time, that we had to landscape in such a way that water would move down the center part of the lawn. And it did that for probably last 15 years. But this year, clearly, with some of the issues that have developed, it's moving it now towards the house and in the the window well, which filled up our basement. So that wasn't a good situation. So appreciate you listening to us today and hearing our concerns.
Thank you, John. Carl Engel. Come on up, Carl.
Carl Engel, 819 Golden Hills Drive. I had very minimal damage on my property from the last flood, but I'm just here in support of my neighbors. I see their damage. I've seen pictures and realize that the problem is only going to get worse. And everybody needs to get together with Lennar and Winkler and whoever and come up with a solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Anybody else that didn't sign up that wishes to speak? How about anybody online joining us? Seeing none, I just had one comment. Seems like, well, with the level of concern there, I would suggest that I do get in touch with our Public Works Director and we do get a meeting together where we can all kind of sit down and figure out, obviously, you know, the problems, but also come together, figure out what's our next step going forward. So with that said, I'm sorry, our Public Works Director, Todd Abelman. Yeah. But what I'd like to ask, if you guys are willing to do this, is share your phone number so that we can get in touch with you. So if I don't. Reasonable. Okay, one last shot out there. Does anybody else wish to comment? And anybody joining us via Zoom wish to comment? Seeing none, I am going to move. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to move on to our next agenda item. And that's our minutes from our April 8th meeting. If there's no corrections to the minutes, I'd accept the motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve our regular city council meeting minutes from April 8th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you. Our minutes are approved. Vouchers, Cindy.
Total vouchers, $953,578.63.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee reviewed these items. I would move approval.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the vouchers as presented. Any questions for Cindy or anybody else?
I'll ask later.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
They're easy.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vouchers are approved. Thank you very much. We didn't have any claims for damages, nor did we have any small contracts that I signed, but I do have an exciting proclamation to read to you all. And thank you, Chief Jenkins. Whereas the effects of home fires are far-reaching and long-standing. A house fire can become deadly in as little as 2 minutes because of common synthetic furnishings that burn fast, producing toxic smoke, lightweight construction material, and open designs used in today's construction, and emerging technologies such as lithium-ion batteries. And whereas homes should be the place where our residents feel safe, in reality, home is where they have the greatest risks of injury or death from fire. And whereas home fires put our firefighters at risk through exposure that can lead to health issues. And whereas combined with working smoke alarms and proper fire escape planning, fire sprinklers in all new homes can reverse the effects of home fires. And whereas by taking part in Home Fire Sprinkler Week, let us recognize that protecting new homes with fire sprinklers will make the future safer for residents, first responders, and entire communities for generations to come. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and city council of the city of Cheney, Washington, do hereby proclaim May 11th through May 17th, 2025, as the date citizens of Cheney observe the National Home Fire Sprinkler Week. Thank you very much. Chief Jenkins for providing that. Did you have any words to say on this? Sorry to throw you out there.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council, for entertaining this. This is something that the fire service has been entertaining or trying to get a little bit of steam buildup on for well over a decade. It just, the cost of modifying existing homes is a little bit more costly than the cost of modifying a brand new built home. With the inception of like PEX piping, instead of having to use the old copper, has made it much more affordable. The national average puts it around $1.30 per square foot of a new home. Anywhere between $2,000 to $6,000 is the estimation for a sprinkler system installed in a residential home for new construction. About double that to modify an existing home. But, you know, it goes without saying that, you know, a lot of house fires do it with today's synthetic fuel loads that we have in the homes and the different types of constructions that we have today than what we did with the old legacy fuels 30, 40 years ago with heavy timber construction. By the time we get notified of a fire and by the time we get on scene, this is a national problem. We're already behind the power curve. So I would just like for the citizens to sort of rally that and realize that, you know, it's really pennies on the dollar if you're looking at it for an investment for a new house and something we should all consider.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And thank you all for providing your numbers. I'll be getting in touch with you real soon. Next on our agenda, action items. We do have a resolution 360. This is the Fort Lake Substation Construction Amendment number 2. Mr. Marks.
Evening, Council. This is a second amendment to our agreement with Power and Vista Corporation on constructing the bypass at the Fort Lake Substation. If you recall, it's a $187,500 project that the appropriation has already been delivered to them. This just updated the milestones table. We pushed construction that was supposed to be starting in March to June, and now we're pushing it to September. Inland and Vista have a big, busy schedule on construction. And it's just getting pushed down the road a few more months again. They assured me that probably September will be the month that it will be done. Shouldn't be that big of a project, but that's about the time they could fit it in on their schedule. So having said that, I'm seeking your approval of Amendment 2.
Thanks, Steve. Any questions for Steve on this amendment?
Your Honor, if there are no questions, I'd make a motion to approve F-360.
Second.
Thank you. A motion and a second to approve resolution F-360 Amendment 2 to the Fort Lake Substation construction. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, Steve. Resolution F-360 passes. And finally, very short agenda today. Resolution F-361, lodging tax for the Cheney Rodeo.
The Cheney Rodeo. Thank you, Your Honor. Excuse me, the Cheney Events, which is the Cheney Rodeo, submitted their lodging application for assistance for the upcoming Cheney Rodeo. In July, the committee met and looked at that historically over the last several years since the Cheney Rodeo is able to sell tickets to fund most of their events. The committee has been awarding them insurance. And that is what the committee has done again on this application. They recommended paying the insurance not to exceed $7,500. That would be paid after the fact, after they submit the receipts and their participation report, just as normally works for them. So I'm asking for approval of resolution F-361, please.
Thanks, Cindy. Any questions for Cindy on, once again, supporting our Cheney Rodeo?
There's no questions or comments. Cheney Rodeo is awesome. Love to go. It's a great part of our city. So I make a motion to approve resolution F-361.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve resolution F-361, lodging tax disbursement to Cheney Rodeo. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you, Cindy. Resolution F-361 passes. And that concludes our action items. Department heads that are in the room, did you guys all, and does anybody have anything to share? Since Mark's not here, usually he leads.
Well, shameless plug for Mayfest, which is coming up for all of us within the city. And a lot of people probably don't realize that the fire department during Mayfest, we actually host a little event at the fire department, encourage all of our citizens to swing by your city fire department. We do well to try to cook you some decent hot dogs. No promises with that, with popcorn. We're going to have a lot of handout information with the Home Fire Sprinkler Safety Coalition as well, and some other displays for the kids. And with hopes that we're going to be able to secure a helicopter like we have done in the past, Life Flight or Airlift Northwest, to land close by the fire department so folks can take a look at the helicopter and get some pretty cool pictures.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, for my report, along with Jason and Jackie, we did a public tour and a little, like a road tour of the new double-decker bus from Spokane Transit Authority today. Well attended, students were on board, the president of Eastern was on board, and we were able to go past the pool, give a little update to everybody on the pool, drive to the West Plains Transit Center over by Petro there. Carl Otterstrom, the interim CEO, every time I hear that guy speaks, he gives you a history lesson on transit. So then we were able to go up to Eastern and see their new geothermal project and a couple other projects they've got going on. But I appreciate that you guys attended with me, and it was a pretty cool event. So those double-decker buses will be in service come September. They're training the drivers right now and the mechanics and everything. So that's very cool. Council reports. Teresa.
Nothing, thank you.
Paul?
Mayor, my term is up in December this year, and I'm just announcing I won't be refiling. So Session number 1 will be open. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, thanks.
And nothing tonight.
I guess it's official now. Jackie.
Today is Earth Day, so it was great to be able to spend it on the double-decker bus and just getting that history about the transit in our region and getting to see some of the cool restoration projects that are going on. And I just want to remind everybody in the spirit of Earth Day to continue being good stewards of our neighborhood, our community, and the greater region.
Thanks, Jackie. Jason.
Mark? Mayfest is coming.
It's coming.
Great part of our city, and I hope we all attend. You're here.
Looking forward to it. Move to adjourn. Actually, we have one more thing. So what I'd ask everybody except for Shelley, I think, Mike and Carrie to run the Zoom, to stick around with us. But everybody else leave. We're going into an executive session per RCW 42.30.110 to consider the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause a likelihood of increased price. We are planning on 10 minutes, so
6:31.
6:30, let's do 6:32 because it's gonna take these guys a minute to get out. So, but thank you all for being here. We will go back into open session at 6:32, but we're not planning on taking any action.
Someday during the week, whenever it's good.
Yes.
I mean, let's just get prepared with a stranger. If you ever want to go.
Stranger. Is
You
there
know,
3?
there's 3 of us and they throw in.
I just see Jamie's iPad and YouTube. Let's just text Jamie that you can just leave now.
I don't
know why, every time.
Oh,
It's me.
He's a pretty good guy.
Hi, Cindy.
I didn't do anything.
That's how I do. I normally do.
Contemplate. Okay, unless there's any objections, I would conclude this meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, good. All in favor?